What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am live. Excuse me. I figured rather than just do a carbon copy news video, I would just come out and just do some AMA and talk to you guys for a bit. It's been a little while. I've been really busy just dealing with all sorts of stuff with properties, trying to buy a house, trying to sell a couple houses, just dealing with stuff in Puerto Rico, dealing with stuff in Florida, and I just need a break. And I figured, maybe now's a good time to do some venting as to what's been going on, because the insanity just keeps continuing, and it's just absolutely insane at this point. So I figure I would just come online and talk about it and see how all of you folks have been doing, because it's been a while since I've done a live video. So I figure let's do it. Hey, Crow, good to see you. Good to see you too, Jason. Let me pull this down a bit because it's difficult for me to see my own chat in this software because it just makes everything really small. I'm not even sure if there's a way of making it bigger, but it sure would be nice. It sure would be nice. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. I guess I could use that. And that's muted. All right. Yeah, it's easier to see this. Let's see what's going on. How well we might be. What's up, Alex? Good to see you, man. Good morning, Crows. What's up, Crypto Chef? What's going on? Thank you so much, man, for all the help you do in my Discord and just everywhere. You're just such a great element of the community. I definitely appreciate you. Crypto Chef, man. Granddaddy Perp. I will tell you, I've been playing a lot of Ultima Online. Ultima UO Outlands. I've got, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 characters. I've just been having some fun with leveling up, and I'm going to start a little guild of assassins in the game because you can pretty much do whatever you want. And it's just a fun time at night, especially. I'm leveling characters during the day when I'm working on other things using scripts and macros, and then I go out and I just kind of play at night. And I'm still sick. I'm still a little under the weather. So, it is what it is, but maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger here. And, so yeah, you have to excuse my sniffling and sneezing. What's happening? Something bad. There's all kinds of bad stuff. I want to share some stuff, but it's mostly just what's going on in the world. And I figure I would do some Q&A, answer any questions that you guys might have about pretty much anything. I mean, today's going to be pretty much an open book, so if you've got questions, throw them into chat and I will try to get to them. You can ask me about anything from the world, the markets, relationships, love, life, anything. I don't care. Let's just talk about it. What a wild market, no sense of direction. That's something else I'm going to show. I'm going to show some of the charts. I'm going to show some of what I've been seeing in Cardano. Man, I traced back a support resistance area that goes all the way back for years. And we're right in it right now in Cardano. And I actually think that's kind of a good thing, because I feel like it's where we consolidate the most before we typically pump. And, I think the world is waiting on Hydra. And I think the closer we get to Hydra, the more the stuff is just it's like a spring. I'm going all in on Cardano. I already have, and I would love to have more, obviously, but, and I've been seeing a lot of people asking me about Ergo, like, hey, Charles likes the developer, Charles likes this, Charles likes that. You know what? That's all fine and dandy, but I was looking into Ergo a little bit last night, and I thought to myself, I'm not, it's like, I don't know, like $1.69. Its volume is like 459. I think it was like 459,000 a day or something. I mean, it's just really, really low. And it's like, there are some projects out there that could be really good, but ultimately the community is not rallying behind them. And this early in the cryptocurrency space, yes, technically we are still very early. Until we have significant mass adoption and everybody's using it for some reason or another, we're still early. And I honestly, I believe that a lot of the world is just waiting for Cardano to finalize itself, because I believe that once Cardano is really done, which it's never going to be done, right? Like nothing in crypto is ever truly done unless it's a centralized shitcoin that, basically it's just used for like remittance or something. ultimately it's all about Hydra to me. I mean, really, it's all about Hydra. And I think once Hydra launches, it's going to truly empower the developers across the board to do so many different things with Cardano. It's going to be insane. And I think at that point, TVL is going to continue shooting up. Every metric on Cardano is going to shoot up once Hydra is officially launched and in play. So what's up, DJ Bomber? Large up, Crow 100. What's up? Hey, Crow, do you hold any? No, I don't hold any, whatever the hell that is. And I see a lot of and for those of you guys that may or may not be new and you go into my comments, and I love it when you post comments, because honestly, I sit around some nights and I just read the comments, and honestly, if it wasn't for my comment section, I probably still wouldn't be here, because your comments, your questions, the things that you guys say really do keep me kind of moving forward in a market that I just blah. I mean, and I don't know what it is, but generally during the bear market is when I primarily do the most of my content to try and prepare everybody with my opinions and what I believe. And then, as we saw in the last bull market, I just was non-existent for the most part. I was so caught up and I was busy with a lot of things. And I'm like, my job is done. The people that have been watching me for all this time are likely doing very well. They don't need me to tell them that. And so I just didn't feel obligated. But like everybody else in YouTube, blew the hell up, 200, 300, 500,000 subscribers. And I just kind of basically sat around and lost subscribers because I wasn't very active. And it's my own fault, but it is what it is, right? I'm here. I'm here, and I'm probably always going to be here to some degree, hopefully, unless I say something in this live stream AMA that YouTube doesn't like. I'm kidding. They love everything I say, I'm sure. Paintball for life. I'm going all in on ADA, trying to get 100,000. That's a great goal. That's a great goal, because at 100,000 ADA, if it were to happen to get to $8 or more, I mean, you could potentially become a millionaire off of that. I really do think realistically, though, we're looking at $5 to $8 at the next peak. Could be substantially more, though, because I'm telling you right now, when I was calculating market capitalization, and at some point I thought about doing a video where I demonstrate exactly how market cap is calculated. And I still think there are a lot of people that just don't get it. If I were, and I'm going to launch a meme coin, just so you guys know, for no other reason than just shits and giggles. It's going to be a total shit coin. And, maybe it has some utility down the line, whatever, but it's like, my Murder of Crows NFT collection. It's fun. It's just a fun thing. It's a fun project. People collect them because they like the art. They like the birds. They like to support the channel and what I do. They like to support what I've offered and what I've tried to do for everyone since 2017. And so that's really helpful to me. You know what I mean? Because it does empower me in a lot of ways. But my coin is, I don't even know what to do with it yet. It's just, people have asked me to do it for so long, and I thought, you know what, why not? I mean, we've got every kind of meme coin out there, and I think honestly, my meme coin, the website and everything that I do with it is going to give me an opportunity to really vent in a funny, creative, satirical way. And I think really that's what the meme coin is going to be all about. And, if a bunch of bulls, whales out there, they get their hands on it, they decide to try and pump it and have fun with it, whatever, cool. But I honestly, I'm going to be giving them away. I'm going to be giving my meme coins away. I'm going to be giving them to my channel supporters. I'm going to be giving them out in a lot of different ways. And, and then if they end up on an exchange or a deck somewhere, that's cool, but it's not going to be me. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it. I'm not going to issue these tokens for sale. It is what it is. It's going to be fun. Hopefully everybody participates and has some fun with it, like everything else. I definitely don't expect anybody's going to make any money or get rich or anything off of my meme coins, my shit coin, but it's just going to be a fun little thing. And I almost look at it like a not even necessarily like a trading card, but just kind of it's a token, man. It's a token of appreciation, a token of, hey, we like Crow, we like what he does on his channel. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. I really want to try and get to 150,000 sooner than later. Definitely need some motivation, man. I really need some motivation. A part of that is why I'm here. I need some motivation. I need you guys to just, I don't know, man. For once, I just want you guys to make me feel good about the world because it's just looking so dismal. me finish going through. Dropped BitBoy for the Crow. Oh, is BitBoy live? Yeah, you know what? He puts out so much content, it's almost impossible to compete anymore. And it's just, that's one of the reasons why I stopped going live, honestly. I mean, I used to, you know, at one point I had like 1,500 to 2,000 people in a live stream. Can you believe that? And, you know, nowadays, I mean, generally it's a few hundred at the peak, maybe 400 at the peak, which is fine. I love all of you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you, but it's just weird to watch the numbers change. And now it just seems like, you know, with everything that I'm seeing in the market, I'm seeing it in the market, I'm seeing it in media, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's like the powers that be favor the biggest conglomerates of any industry. And it's like they all try to push out the smaller people in favor of these larger people that they feel that they can control more effectively. And, you know, and I'm not saying BitBoy's under any control. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying that it's easier to control the few than it is to control the many. Okay. And that goes across the board. And I see that time and time again. We're seeing it with banking. We see it across the board. I mean, you know, remember Ultima on the Apple computer? I never played the original Ultimas, but Ultima Online was my first love. Like, that was my first MMO. To this day, I wish I could recreate Ultima Online with all of its fun and put it on the blockchain. I still want to do that. And I've had talks with developers about it. And you know what? Maybe at the end of 2025, if I have the ability, I plan to do something like that. You know, I play this UO Outlands, which is great, and they've enhanced it, they've increased it, expanded it, they've added so much, they've done so much, and it's a really cool time, man. But it's hard because honestly, like, you got to level your characters up, and there's so many different skills and abilities and things that you have to level over time, and it's really not easy. And then while you're trying to do that, you've got all these player killers running around just trying to basically murder you and scoop up all your gear, and it gets really, really, it gets frustrating. So I'm actually creating my own little private guild in the game. I don't have any members, just me. But I'm going to get a squad of like 5 or 6 people, and I'm going to basically do like EVE Online style, where I'm going to have this group. Somebody gets player killed or they get, you know, griefed or whatever. You can hire us and we'll grief the griefer. And that's basically where I'm at. It's called the Vengeful Few. And that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm leveling up my characters. I'm going to get some other people involved that I think are legit. And we're going to go around griefing the griefers, man, and like give everybody a taste of their own medicine. We're going to pop out of nowhere. We're going to have a bunch of stealthers. We're going to pop out. We're going to hit you with poisons and bombs and shit. And then we're going to take all your shit. And you know, it's like a mercenary style. It's basically the same stuff we used to do in EVE Online. My kill board in EVE Online is sick. I mean, sick. Like, I would fly into an area of space, man, and people would look up my kill board and they know instantly. I would get messages like, "Hey man, welcome, anything I can do," whatever. People would get real friendly when you've got just like an endless stream of kills on your kill board and like hardly any deaths. They know that they're not messing with somebody that's new. Let's just say that. So I want to establish something like that in Ultima Online. Why not? We're just riding out the storm. Hit the thumbs. Yeah, hit that like button if you don't mind. That's always greatly appreciated. Ben draws them in with sensationalism. It's his thing. I kind of got burnt out on that. I really do wish he would stop trying to make himself such a target for everybody. I mean, the way he goes after Gensler, and I just saw his video on Senator Warren. It's like, yeah, you know what? These people, the space could definitely do without these people. And it's obvious that they're all playing a role in this grand scheme of let's just burn down everything and we can build it back better. You know, remember that old narrative, the build back better? Where did that go? Well, we're seeing it now. I feel like a lot of that build back better rhetoric was a call to arms. It was basically them saying, hey, we're getting ready to start pushing the button on this. We have control of everything. So we're going to start sending this into a downward spiral. And then we're going to be able to rebuild it better our way, the way we want, with all the controls we want. And we're going to be able to do whatever the hell we want because we're not going to have anybody to oppose us. We're going to control everything. So anything you do, you're not going to get in any trouble. You're not going to go to jail for anything. And, sorry, my door was just open. What? I'm live. Okay, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. we've been trying to prepare this house to sell and for showings and things, and one of the people cleaning just kind of came in, and I don't know what she's saying, so she's gonna call my wife. So anyway, I don't know what the hell I was saying. Must not have been that important. Hey Crow, I recently learned that XRP will be the default gas token in the fluff world metaverse. Seems like a promising use case. Thoughts? I don't know, man. I mean, as far as XRP, I think I have like 1,000 of them, and I, whatever happens. That's it. It's okay, Jason. You have unique content. Of course, there is sometimes content that is a little bit the same, but I just like your perspective. Thank you, Peter. And I see you I see you around here a lot, and I appreciate it. I feel like my perspective on things is very much just like, call it how I see it, like everything else. I mean, it is what it is. And I've never really been much of a political person. I just never really cared that much because I never understood how a lot of this stuff affected me. And I really never understood the absolute level of corruption in our government. And it amazes me how there are so few people with any real moral fiber whatsoever. It's all a power struggle, a cash grab. I'm watching House of Cards, and I know Kevin Spacey's, I don't know what the hell he did. But I'm not even watching the show. I used to be a fan of, I loved him in Pay It Forward. I always liked Kevin Spacey, to be honest with you, but it sounds like he's just kind of a, wackadoo. I don't know. But, I've been watching House of Cards, and I remember watching it a while back when it first launched, and I kind of lost interest a little bit. And that was long before I got interested in politics. But watching it now, so I watched Designated Survivor, and I loved it, but I'm like, wow, this is so fantasy. You know what I mean? Like somebody in office that's well-spoken and eloquent and honest to the core and truly has to make all these difficult decisions, but he's always trying to do what's right in every turn. I'm like, that doesn't exist in politics. I'm sorry, because there's nothing but a bunch of narcissists with histrionic disorder that ever climb the ladder in any form of politics. And now, in order to get anywhere, you really have to be kind of part of the World Economic Forum, or basically some of these groups that are ultimately training you, indoctrinating you from younger ages, and basically programming you to toe the line for them. And so we just don't have that. So now I'm watching House of Cards, and I'm thinking, this is more reality than anything. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, I wonder what politicians this was potentially molded after. Like, was it all fiction, or is there a lot of truth to it? I don't know. But I definitely like the show, and I feel like it gives me a really good perspective as to what's happening in actual politics and how deals are made and relationships are, built and broken. And so, yeah, it is what it is. But it's do you ever miss cage fighting? No, I do, but I don't. Like, I didn't like the way I felt fighting. Honestly, I never liked the way I feel fighting. Like, if somebody starts something with me in a bar or whatever, because they think, oh, look at this big dude, I bet he doesn't know how to fight, and I'm like, do what I have to do. I always kind of feel bad, because even as a kid, I was always such a big kid, and I was a softie. You guys know how I am. I'm emotional. I'm very I'm compassionate. I feel a lot. All the time, and I never want to hurt anybody. Like, in any level, any capacity, I never want to hurt anybody. And even an asshole in a bar, I don't want to hurt him. He's a dumbass. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to hurt anybody physically. And I used to think, well, if it's I fought this guy who he had fought for me for years, and he was like the tallest dude in MMA. He was 6'6", and he was a nice guy, and he was a crazy dude. He'd fight anybody. They called him the Cincinnati Psycho or whatever. And I forget who. So I don't know if it was me to him or him to me, but somebody expressed an interest in us fighting someday. And I'm like, yeah, let's go, and he was super excited about it. But I couldn't fight while I had a promoter's license, and there are all these complications, and I had trained for years on and off. And, the long and short of it is I ended up fighting him before I got out of the business, and I beat him in like 35 seconds by TKO. And I felt really bad about it. Like, I felt I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of like pummeling somebody for sport. It just did not feel good to me. And I even told my then fiance, I'm like, I just don't like the way this makes me feel. I don't think I'm ever going to do it again. And that was it. That was it for me. I left it on a high note. And, you know, like if somebody were to break in my house or somebody were to, you know, if somebody puts me or my family in danger, that's an entirely different story. I'll end you, period. Like without questions asked. I don't give a shit. I feel like there are some people that just bring things on themselves, and I feel like those people deserve what they get. You know, but for sport and just like to punch somebody in the face and try to damage them, you know, just to win, you know, a trophy or something, like I don't mind watching it, and like on a high professional level, I respect it absolutely, and I do love MMA. And if anything, I like training for the sake of being able to handle myself in situations, but definitely not because I want to be the baddest dude on the block. I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't have to try that hard. I'm kidding. I'm getting so stuffy just talking. We all need to support each other until the next bull market. Thanks, Crow, and hang in there, everyone. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. No more banks failing today or what? Yeah, there are some. Hey, Crow, sorry if you answered this already, but what do you think about Pulse Chain? I don't think about Pulse Chain, man. I don't think about Hex. I don't think about Pulse. I don't think of any of this stuff. I just don't. I don't think about a lot of these tokens and coins out there. Here, I'll show you a couple things that oops, that's not what I want to see. Hold on, where is it? I'll show this real quick. So this is Cardano's price. Right now, it's been hovering around 38.8, right? And I drew this box out because I'm kind of looking like, where's all the support and resistance at in this box? And I started looking, and then I started moving back further and further and further, and I'm like, wow, if you take these highs and lows, like this was all the way back in November of 2022, okay? Same, just the same levels. Right? And you can see everything that we did, unless we are on like a massive dump over time, or a massive pump, which, you know, the price moved out of this range. So like we spent all this time under this area. This is back in 2020, 2021. And then we just really started to take off, right? And we got into the double peaks. So this was actually about where, oh, that's May 21. Oops. I wanted it to be back here. Hold on. April 21st. Yeah. So this is about where Bitcoin peaked right there. Right. So that's about where Bitcoin peaked. And then once Bitcoin peaked, profit came in and started pumping up Cardano, because that's what happens, right? Bitcoin pumps, profitability goes into the other tokens, so forth and so on. We came back down, and then we had our second peak where we peaked out finally at about 314. And, you know, but if you look back prior to that pump, I mean, look at this. This was April 3rd of 2020 back here, where Shelley launched with decentralized staking. And then so that happened, and then we had the Bitcoin halving. Look what happened after the halving. We were sideways for a little bit because all the money was focusing on Bitcoin here, right? And then we started to get a pump. People are starting to take their profits and the rise up in price, and then they started putting it in Cardano, and then we leveled off and went up and sideways. And then we started to bounce around a little bit. And then once we got into this range, we weren't there very long until the price just kept moving up and up and up. Post halving, that's where it was at. So you figure we've got, you know, until we basically got a year until the next halving. But I mean, that price that went all the way through all these years. And here we are, we're bouncing around in it again. And so, you know, I was going to start planning out, you know, what the difficulty with Cardano is I want to basically project like the growth of TVL, transaction volume, trade volume, how these numbers have changed throughout these cycles. But you can see here, this was our bottom, you know, it was around 23 cents. It was 23, 24 cent bottom for this cycle. And then away we go. And, you know, but here's the thing. The morning after, White House proposes a 30% tax on electricity used for crypto mining. I mean, this is insane. You know, I feel like every time I go to the news now, this wackadoo is basically trying to push more taxes. Tax this, tax that, tax this, it's constant. And not only that, but this is the real whammy. New fee structure on May 1 will make mortgages cheaper for some and pricier for others. So basically what this all boils down to is the Biden administration, of course, and its socialistic efforts to, I don't know what they're trying to do. I mean, I do, but you can't really talk about it. Borrowers getting a conventional mortgage will be subjected to a new pricing structure starting May 1. Fees are dropping for some borrowers, making lower down payments while rising for those putting more down. Industry leaders have pushed back against these new rules, citing both affordability issues for borrowers and compliance concerns for lenders. It's just nonsensical. Like, this is the kind of crap that we're seeing pretty much every week now, where they're basically just trying to bleed out the middle class in every conceivable way, whether it's through taxation or now we've got these new fees. And they're basically saying, listen, if your credit sucks and you're not known to pay your bills, then we want to basically bleed out those that have been more responsible in life, who focus on the things like credit scores, down payments, and basically working their asses off. And we want to bleed those people out to help take care of those that just don't give a shit. I mean, that's basically what it is. And it's absolutely insane. Now, all of it is dependent on, you know, how much of a down payment you're putting down. This doesn't apply to everybody across the board. It's not like that, but it's definitely it's a window of people that are ultimately going to have to pay a significantly higher price, sometimes an upwards of an extra $1,000 a month on a mortgage. All basically this is like Obamacare 2.0. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is like Obamacare 2.0, because if, like, my wife and I, we were forced to have Obamacare. We were paying like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And you know what it did for us? Absolutely nothing. And we were forced to pay thousands of dollars a month. And this was during a time when we were basically living check to check, as it were. And, you know, we're forced to buy this bogus insurance that did absolutely nothing for us, so that basically whoever, you know, wasn't paying into it had like full health care. But honestly, listen, why is it my responsibility to try and take care of my family and the families of others who don't try to bother? Like, is that really what this is all about? Or is this about, you know, if we connect all the dots, to me, my opinion, it feels like we're letting all these people from anywhere come into the country, and then they want me to pay for them so that they have more support at the voting booths, so that they can maintain and retain power for as long as possible. It's like they want me to fund their campaigns, in a sense, through more taxation, through mortgage fees, through bullshit insurance, like whatever it is. It's just a lot of different ways to bleed out the people that really care and that are really working hard to try and provide and take care of their family. And I feel like I'm taking care of other people's families too, which normally I wouldn't really have a problem with. Work it out. Let's work something out. You know what I'm saying? But this is disgusting. And, you know, and the thing of it is that the people that support this stuff, they have nothing to lose. I mean, primarily look at the people who have nothing to lose. And those are the people that are supporting this, because they feel like they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I listen, I'm not even going to say her name, but I swear to God, every time I hear this woman talk, I just want to throw up. And she is absolutely so delusional on every possible turn that I'm like, how is this woman even in office? I know she got popular, you know, basically triggering people on social media. She staged a bunch of different fake photo shoots to make herself look all compassionate and everything, but everything about her is garbage. Like, this woman is delusional. And it's sad because she's beautiful. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm burnt out. I'm tired of feeling picked apart. I'm tired of it. I really am. I'm just so tired of it. And this mortgage thing is absolutely repugnant on every conceivable level. I mean, it just is. But, you know, people don't care, especially people without a mortgage. People that live in apartments or they have roommates or whatever, they don't care because a lot of these people don't see their lives ever getting better. They feel like, you know, they've got this reason or another reason to believe that their lives are just not going to improve or that they're never going to find their mark or that they're, you know, whatever it is. And it's sad, but because they feel so defeated on so many different levels, or maybe they have, you know, mental issues, or maybe they have drug addiction issues, or maybe they have, you know, a multitude of issues and reasons, and they don't ever see themselves rising above it, which is why so many of them just don't care. And when you mix that in with the, you know, the indoctrination systems that we have in place through our education system, you know, I mean, we're programmed to believe that we're powerless. We're programmed to believe that you just do what you're told. And all of this stuff is by design. All of it. It has been. I mean, Rockefeller made sure. I just watched this whole thing about our educational system and how it came about. And it's all a part of socialistic efforts, man. And it has been from the beginning. And it you know, and I see some comments like, you know, a touch of socialism isn't a bad thing. Well, that may be true. And I do believe that to some degree it is the responsibility of the many, or even the few, I guess you could say, to try and help, you know, raise up some of the rest. But that's not through bleeding everyone out. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, there's only so much blood we have to give. I donate blood about every 8 weeks like clockwork. They take just enough and they leave me with what I really need to thrive and survive. They're not trying to bleed me out to the point where I'm just like, you know, a damn near a corpse with a heartbeat. Okay. And I feel like that's what a lot of what's happening. So whatever. I don't think anybody really cares. You'll own nothing and be happy. Yeah, you know, when you look at this whole mortgage thing, I mean, it's going to make things a lot more difficult for people to sell their homes. It's making things a lot more difficult, almost impossible for some people to even be able to buy a home now, which is going to do what? Well, it's going to free up all of this property for companies like BlackRock and Vanguard to swing by and pick up and make a bunch of offers to people and just continue building it as they're crashing the housing market. And I'm telling you, every single bit of this stuff is by some kind of design, and it's not to help the people at all. I mean, think about it. We how much frivolous spending did we do? Have we done basically since 2020, man? And we can blame COVID all we want, but like Klaus Schwab said, it's a stupid idea to let a good pandemic go to waste or whatever the line is. Everybody has been taking advantage of this, established a narrative, and has just been continuing on with it. You know, we're continuing to pay the price. The problem is that it doesn't stop. If COVID was the reason we spent so much money and printed so much money, why are we still doing it? And why are we still trying to force, you know, debt ceiling heights? And why are we still trying to push on with it? If that was the reason, what's the reason now? Are we still trying to blame that? It's all silly. It's all silly. So anyway, so easy to trigger clowns. Yeah, it is. It's very easy to trigger them because they're all looking for a reason to be triggered. It's for a lot of these people, it's the only real reason they have to wake up and do anything in the morning is to get triggered and voice their, I don't know, just to voice their, what's the word I'm looking for? My cold has got me so messed up. It's amazing what a delay my live stream is actually on. I'm realizing like I'm still seeing my charts right now, but it is telling me I have an excellent connection, so that's good. How long have I been live? Average view duration right now is about 7 minutes, 33 seconds. It's going up, so that means a lot of you folks are sticking around. So let's go ahead and get to some Q&A if you don't mind, and make sure you smash that like button. Missed you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Polly P, what's going on? The hell with all those who make rules, enforce the rules, try to tell me what I do with my own authority. I ask no one. So easy to trigger clowns. Narratives work like clockwork. Peaceful mass non-compliance is the only way. Yeah. I identify as a clown today. Yeah. You know, here's the thing too. I see all this stuff about Bud Light, right? And Delvaney or whatever her name is. I'm not sure. And listen, I get that a lot of people are pissed about the whole Delvaney, campaign or whatever. I don't even think it's so much about the fact that that Delvaney is trans or whatever. I'm not even 100% sure. Like, does he just dress like a girl? Is he having surgery? I don't know. I don't care enough to pay that much attention, to be honest. He's not the pivotal point of my entire existence, so I just don't care enough to learn, if I'm honest. But I also believe in being respectful to somebody. Whatever the individual is trying to accomplish in their life, more power to you. And I don't really care that Bud Light came out with a campaign. They're trying to capitalize on a market that they believe is much bigger. Here's the thing. The narrative of the left is that they are the majority, right? That's the narrative. And they keep buying into it. For whatever reason, they are believing that they are the majority. They believe that they were the majority in 2020. They believe they're the majority now. How many times do we have to prove this bullshit narrative wrong before people realize, wait a minute, something's not right here. Something's not adding up. We try to cater to these people, but then our profits plummet, our numbers drop, our ratings drop through the toilet. Where are all these people? They don't fucking exist. There's like a small handful of these people that make the most noise, and there's a narrative that's trying to be controlled by all of the mass media, all of the news, all of the politicians, and they try to magnify the voices of a few people because that is what confirms everything that's happened since 2020. We are made to believe that this is the majority. We are made to believe that 84 million people voted for a guy who did absolutely nothing, sat in his basement and went nowhere and did nothing, was planted into office, and has basically made the world a better place ever since, right? That's what we're supposed to believe. That is the narrative. It doesn't make any sense because there is no sense to be made of it. And so when I think about all of this stuff, listen, I believe and I understand the plight and the number of people out there that they say, you know what, I was born a certain way. I just had a big discussion with my aunt recently, who is very, very religious and very much, believes in the Bible and all that. And I'm like, you know what, more power to you. I don't care what anybody does, and I don't care how anybody wants to live their life. Like I've always said, if you're not hurting anybody, do you. If you want to be referred to as a frog, however, that's where I draw a line. You can refer to yourself as a frog, and I'll still engage you in conversation, but I'm not going to sit here and acknowledge you being a frog because that's the way you feel inside. What if I feel really angry today and I say, you need to address me as somebody that's angry? Who gives a shit? I don't personally care. Why is it my responsibility to make sure that you feel like you have been affirmed or confirmed as feeling or being whatever it is that comes to your imagination today? It's not my responsibility. I don't evolve my life around your fucking whims. I'm sorry. But I support you having them. And I support you, wanting to feel like a frog. If you want to jump around on lily pads and ribbit, go for it. That's okay. But I just don't feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that you feel affirmed or confirmed or whatever the terminology is, so that you feel better about it. I'm definitely against being disrespectful to your frogism. I support your frogism, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's okay. Be you. But it is a minority of people. Okay, it is a minority of people who actually subscribe to a lot of this. They just happen to be the most vocal because, quite frankly, I believe that they have the least amount of shit to do in their daily life. And that's just my opinion. It doesn't have to mean anything, but that's just the way I look at it. So, from a political perspective, I just want the nightmare to be over. I really do. I'm tired of all the cancellations. I'm tired of all the censorship. I'm tired of all these bullshit narratives. I'm tired of all these made up finger pointing narratives about other people that always turn out to be untrue, disproven, full of garbage. Just every bit of what we've been sold since 2020, in my opinion, every bit of what's been sold to us has been complete garbage to perpetuate or to serve the corporate interests, to big pharma, politicians, whatever. It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. And I don't see it stopping because so many people, whether we're content creators or whoever, we're just a number of people that are out here trying to stay just enough under the radar while being able to try and voice our true opinions in true form without being overly censored or shut down because somebody with more power than us feels differently. The freedom of speech is not a real thing anymore. And I saw something else recently that was talking about, basically the United States the United States is a company. It's a corporation ultimately that doesn't necessarily have to abide by the original Constitution because it doesn't fall under the Constitution in a sense, which is why we see the left making so many efforts, some successful, some not, on trying to thwart the Constitution and what it means and what it stands for and what it basically lays out for everyone, because it doesn't have to. What matters right now is who controls the strings, who controls the prosecuting arm. Merrick Garland. If he doesn't want to prosecute you and he doesn't want you in trouble, you're not going to get in trouble. You can go out and do anything you want. As long as it's supported by the left, nothing's going to happen to you because nobody else has the power to do anything. And I think it's actually pretty repugnant to the idea that one person, from what I've been gathering, has all of the control over the outcomes of so many people playing a role in this agenda that's happening before our very eyes. And it's just time to make a stand of some kind. It's time to reject these ideas. And the thing of it is to my original point with the, Bud Light, a lot of people are trying to make their stand by shutting down the companies that are trying to perpetuate a narrative of this woke agenda. I don't think it's as much about Dylan as much as it is about the message that Bud Light is trying to send by bringing Dylan on to perpetuate a narrative through advertising. And I think that is what the revolt is about. That is what the backlash is about. We are tired of being sold an idea or a narrative and basically being told that the majority believes this way, and if you don't, you're the enemy, you're the problem, you deserve to be silenced, you deserve to be prisoned, you deserve all of these negative, terrible things because you don't agree. And if you don't support us, if you don't support what we're doing, well, we're the majority, you should be scared. And I think that is ultimately the narrative that we're seeing. That is the agenda that we're seeing. And, when a company supports this kind of woke ideology, a lot of people that don't agree with it are showing that they are actually the majority. They can pose a significant threat financially or whatever way. We can't through our voice because our voices are always silenced, but we can through our money. And so that is why this Bud Light thing has blown up and escalated to where it is, because we are given only that as a voice to object to everything that's being forced down our throats. It's not so much about Dylan. It is about the narrative. It is about this forced agenda that's being pushed on everyone, and we're being silenced to speak against any of it. So they're making a much bigger deal in more creative ways through these little parody ads and all this other stuff. And ultimately, unfortunately for Bud Light, they're being used as the object of everyone's affections, if you will. I don't have any problems with Dylan. Live your life, man. If you can run around and pretend to be a 9-year-old girl or whatever, and you can make money off of that in a lifestyle, if you're not hurting anybody, I don't really give a shit. More power to you. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody being whoever they are. I really don't at all. Be you, do you. I support you 1,000%. I don't really have a problem with Dylan drinking a Bud Light in an ad. I really don't. I don't care. If I were a Bud Light drinker, which I've never been because I just don't like beer, I don't really know that I would stop drinking Bud Light because of the ad campaign. I think if anything, it would be me rejecting the forced narrative that's being pushed on everybody. That I think is what I would object to. But you know, it is what it is, right? I'm shadow banned now. I see it. I'm not sure what everybody's talking about. Hey, I've been shadow banned. Can anyone see this? I see you, Ukraine, but the majority has to stop being silent. That's the thing, Jeff. It's not about the majority being silent. It's about the majority being silenced on every platform, everywhere. I think I think there's a right and wrong way about having a voice. One side is allowed to say absolutely anything now. Okay. They can make bold lies. They can make bold claims. They don't have to be substantiated by anything. They don't have to be supported by evidence or data. They can say whatever they want. We've seen this. We know this. This is the norm now. The other side, however, is not allowed to challenge that. That we're not allowed to say anything against anything that is being supported and projected, not by the algorithms, not by the people in power. We're just not allowed to speak our minds or our thoughts about anything. And that is the problem today. So we have to basically get more creative in our methods for showing that, we're done with it. I mean, to be honest, I would love to see a third political party, if not a fourth. This right versus left garbage has got to stop altogether. It's got to stop. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. The only reason why it is still a thing is because it is easy for everyone to control. The left and the right are so beyond easily controlled today, whether you believe it or not. If you are a Republican or you're a Democrat, you are controlled. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you agree with me or not. You're controlled, because each side subscribes to a particular set of narratives that are basically hand-fed and delivered by the media we all consume. There needs to be an alternative. There needs to be that real fact-based truth that's distributed on a regular basis. The problem is that both sides know that everybody is more inclined to watch something negative, grandiose, whatever. And that's what draws in the eyeballs. That's what draws in the views. That's what draws the attention. It's, a head rolling down a street. That's what everybody wants to look at. And so sometimes the facts of a situation are much less interesting than a grand narrative or a grand, us versus them battle that everybody's tuning in to see what's the latest in the social war. And I consider this all a bit of a social war. We need more parties involved. I wanted to create something called the Block Party, and start with a smaller community, start doing all voting on the blockchain, start creating, instituting policies where everything, there's, no bill, no law, nothing is longer than like 2 pages, and it's each individual thing, not 5,000 pages of garbage pushed through, 12 hours before it's supposed to be voted on by a bunch of people that really couldn't care less. That's not for the people, folks. I'm sorry. That is tyranny, period. Any group that has the means of pushing through bills in the way the world is going to change legally at 2 a.m. while forcing everybody to vote on it or else, and all of this stuff, that is not for the people, and that needs to change. Everything should be transparent. The public should have a say. This idea that, we are going to vote one person into this office, a person into that office, make them career politicians, just set out for lobbying and corruption across the board, and they can just ultimately dictate to us from there what we do, what we say, how much taxes we pay, how much we have to suffer. That's nonsensical. Every political public issue that has an effect or a change on the grand public or society as a whole, we absolutely need everybody to have a voice. And we should do it all transparently on the blockchain. I think this right versus left garbage should go right out the window. The public should be voting on specific issues as they arise, not I'm going to vote this person because they believe this way today. I'm going to vote for this person because they believe that way today, and let them all sort it out. No. That shit that's done. I would almost rather just have a full-blown technocracy than have to continue dealing with the corruption in politics. That's all there is to it. I'm just over it all. So, anyway, yeah, I know this isn't even about crypto. It's just about the craziness going on. Yeah, I live in Canada, and everything you're warning folks about is literally happening here. And I'm very well aware. Justin Trudeau is like the poster boy for the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab has ultimately said that himself. It is what it is. The only thing that I can say, this is one of the driving forces for me in crypto right now, is to just continue trying to push forward cycle to cycle, creating an environment for myself and my family that gives us the ability to withdraw if we want. And so that's it. So I don't even know how long I've been live here, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it because my head is about to blow up. Oh my gosh, I've been live 50 minutes already. Holy cow. My average view duration is only about 9 minutes. So, people are coming in, they're checking it out for a few minutes and they're bailing. Because I'm just kind of rambling on a bunch of political shit that, let's just face it, a lot of people just don't care about. Any news on cornucopias? I'm waiting. There's stuff brewing, but, stuff takes a while, and I don't really have anything new to say yet. I'm just waiting for them to say, hey, you can talk about this, XYZ. So I love you too, Rob. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. There are 1,000 views on this video already so far. Make sure you hit that like button. There should be 1,000 likes, shouldn't there? I mean, why not support you? Maybe you don't agree with everything I have to say, but you know what? I believe in you. I believe you. I value you. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. We've all got a major problem. And, hopefully there's some more concentrated efforts in resolving some of these things, because honestly, we need our freedoms. We need our freedom to think. We need our freedom to feel. We need our freedom to be able to voice whatever that may be at any given time without worry of recourse, or being shut down or silenced or whatever. And, that's all there is to it. And I'm going to leave you with this. While some of you guys may say, Crow's a righty or Crow's a lefty, let me put it to you this way. The Patriot Act, that was just step one. That was a Republican issue. That was all put forth by the Republicans. Now we have this basically like this, what's the word I'm looking for? Where, they're trying to like censor everything and keep, they're basically trying to turn America into China. Probably because China owns so much in the United States at this point, and we rely on them for pretty much every product and everything anyway, that they're like, you know what, United, they don't know it, but the United States is basically like part of China. I mean, I don't, it's not, obviously I'm just being satirical, but it feels that way. And the more stuff that comes to the forefront, the more we realize that China really has much bigger hands in the United States than we ever thought. And, I don't know. I'm just so over it. I'm so over it. So anyway, listen, until next time, guys, crow your coins. I will see you soon. And, enjoy the shorts. Make sure you support my shorts because those also support the channel. And, and if you haven't already, make sure you pick up a Murder of Crows, murderofcrows.io. And I will see you soon. Thanks, guys.